We're starting a little bit late, my apologies. It is another fine spring day in New Hampshire. So thank you for weathering the storm. My name is Catherine Corkery. I'm the chapter director of New Hampshire Sierra Club. We come together as friends and experts, students, leaders, elders, youngers from across the state with an open mind to learn from each other and help create a vision for justice, access, safety, health-filled, thriving and belonging, and clean energy for everyone in this state, the region, and the country. We are here today to share our ideas, our demands, suggestions, experiences, and solutions for the high energy costs, the removal of the utility planning process, dwindling of the utility transparency, and slow walking of clean energy adoption, and in cases, the refusal to innovate at all. Normally, the state would be hosting public hearings with ratepayers and decision makers and elected officials and utility people and businesses and academics, but we don't have that luxury here in New Hampshire. And we have no guidance from the state as to what to comment on. They just said, send us an email. Well, I don't appreciate, I am offended by the lack of, the laissez-faire attitude of this state, and the lack of guidance and the lack of belonging with this energy department. And so I called up a few friends, and they called up a few friends, and here we are today. And I want to thank you again for sharing your ideas and demanding to be heard. Again, we're sharing the ideas, suggestions, and experiences on the original lands of the Confederacy of the Wabanaki people, also known as the Abenaki, and more specifically, the Kawasaki Band of the Pennacook Abenaki. The land of great wealth and abundance gave the Abenaki sustenance to thrive for thousands of years, and providing them with the deep knowledge of the land, the waters, the critters, the ocean, and the cycles of the region. Wisdom of their culture and spiritual teachings, and the region we inherit today. I would like to thank the generosity of our hosts, the host this evening, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Concord. Thank you for providing us with a safe and secure location to discuss these important ideas. And I would also like to thank the co-partners, the Third Act in New Hampshire, 350 New Hampshire, the League of Conservation Voters, and the New Hampshire Network out in the net. Thank you. And for the agenda tonight, after this intro, we'll hear from the Honorable Rebecca McWilliams about the 10-year energy strategy and what it is and why it is, and how it can be a source of knowledge, solutions, and directions for the legislator, state agencies, utilities, businesses, and us, the public. Then we'll open the podium for speakers. And again, this is being recorded and we will be submitting it to the Department of Energy as testimony, but we do encourage you all to also submit your written testimony individually. Rob has instructions about that and what the process is. So thank you, and here's Rob Werner from the League of New Hampshire Voters.
Thanks, Kathy.
Conservation Voters.
No problem, thanks. I'm happy to be here with you tonight. I do have some logistical information. If you wish to speak, please clearly write your name, pronouns, town, topic, and if you're affiliated with a group, on these index cards, which are found on the table in the back. We will call out the speaker and the next speaker's name at the same time, like at a baseball game. That way you know you'll be next. Also, due to time constraints, we can only allow 3 minutes per speaker, so please be concise and brief. For those in the room, 2 things. The various groups have provided additional information about energy solutions that they are working on and developing. You can find that information back there. Please check it out. The restrooms are located down your hallway to the right. The food is available for all. Feel free to enjoy that. For anyone on the internet and in the room, if you'd like to provide written comments, please email them directly to the New Hampshire Department of Energy at sdscomments@energy.nh.gov. The deadline is March 31st. For more grounding, we will start with the Honorable Rebecca McWilliams, a former state representative for various wards in Concord. Used to be my state rep. Rebecca is a mom, lawyer, architect, and uses her superpowers to promote and expand clean energy in everything she does. Rebecca will share briefly about the 10-year energy strategy. So, Rebecca, thanks for being here with us tonight.
Thank you very much, Kathy and Rob. It is my pleasure to be here with you this evening. My name is Rebecca McWilliams. My husband and I run the Lewis Farm right here in Concord. We care deeply about energy and environment and what that means for everyone in New Hampshire. Thank you for mentioning in the intro, my 3 kids are the reason I'm here tonight and the reason that I fight so hard for the things that I care about. I want them to have a better future than I did. Just a little bit of background. I grew up on the southern coast of Connecticut, and what we discovered when I was in college was a pretty heavily ozone polluted area. I developed asthma, and it was likely due to the air pollution that I was exposed to every day as a kid. I didn't know that, my parents didn't know that. We weren't paying attention to that sort of thing. And to this day, I think that there are a lot of pollutants that happen in our environment. Some examples, PFAS and Merrimack. People just aren't paying attention, and they don't realize that they can cause cancer. We're not really thinking about things like that necessarily. Although I'm probably preaching to the choir, because in this group and in this environment, we are paying more attention than the average person. But I think it's so important that all of us have a voice and talk about the pollutants that impact us and our lives and our children's lives. Because if we don't talk about it, who will? And if we don't fix it, nobody will. So with that, I just want to give a little bit of brief background on the New Hampshire Energy Strategy document. The 10-year energy strategy that we're currently working under at the state of New Hampshire was developed in 2022. Now, this document can be really powerful, and previous versions of this document have been really powerful. The current iteration, I think, leaves a lot to be desired. Under a good 10-year energy strategy, there are measurable milestones for achieving reduction in greenhouse gases, in our dependence on fossil fuels, increases in electric conversion for heating, electric vehicles. There are a lot of opportunities for real metrics, and then setting stage gates so that we will achieve these metrics by year 1, year 2, year 5, year 9, and we know we're on track to achieve the goals by year 10. That's not currently the setup of the current plan that we're operating under, but there is an aspiration to do better. So the Department of Energy is required to solicit public input, and that's why we're here tonight, and that's why we're speaking to the net, because you have until March 31st to send information to the Department of Energy, and I encourage every single person here to send at least a brief email. Bullets, it's fine, send something, because it does need to be reviewed by the Department of Energy, and it needs to be considered. In addition, the House and Senate Energy Committees will also be looking at these comments and will be commenting themselves. There will be a consultant hired as well by the Department of Energy to review and put together all of the information. So again, the state strategy really can be a useful tool. We want this to be something that, for example, when I was serving on the Science, Technology, and Energy Committee in the House, people would bring up the 10-year energy strategy and wave it around when they were testifying and then point to specific pages and paragraphs and say, we're not on track. We need to pass this bill to make sure that we are on track. So it becomes a persuasive tool and also part of our roadmap for what we're doing to better the environment. So I do want this to actually be comprehensive, and it is very useful for legislators. It actually does get used when written well. It's also useful for the public. You can testify and use it. And then our utilities and state agencies are really risk averse. Our utilities actually want to know what we're up to for the next 10 years because they can set up their own internal funding and staffing strategies to meet the goals of the state. So for that reason, we want a 10-year energy strategy that doesn't have any secrets but also isn't incredibly vague, because businesses rely on this for continuity and for hiring and staffing and figuring out their finances. So it's a favor to everyone to have a well-written 10-year strategy. And again, we want to have a vision for clean air, low energy costs, modern technology, using the department's advising capacity and the legislature to uphold the Public Utilities Commission. So the strategy should be used to raise awareness of the rate setting process. I know a lot of folks here have been dealing with expensive electricity and understanding how our rates are set, and also what we can do as individuals to impact the long-term rate setting process. That's huge. That should be in the 10-year energy strategy. Also creating creative programs for consumers, educating the public, and educating folks who are involved in the energy space. So there are always people entering and exiting, but mostly entering to learn more about this. This 10-year energy strategy should be written in layman's terms so people can embrace this. It's not a thesis, it's not a PhD level document. It's meant to actually set the strategy so that the public can interact. So in this effort, we need the public's input, and that's why we're having this hearing, and I'm hoping that everyone here can come up with some bright ideas to implement and send to the Department of Energy. So thank you very much.